What's up, AfterBuzzers? We are here. 13 Reasons Why After Show. We're talking about Season 3, Episode 6. You can tell the heart of a man by how he grieves. We got a lot of talk about Bryce's funeral, Tony, his Mustang, and his family, and Clay goes through an I love you complex. Got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz...
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome, 13 Reasons Why After Show. I'm your boy, Danny Royce, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts here. You've seen her on Monica Goes. Monica.
Hey guys, what's up?
I think you forgot your last name.
I know. Took him a minute there.
Monica blank. No. Ortega. I know your last name, okay? And then we got the gorgeous. You're gorgeous too, Monica, by the way.
Thank you.
But also another gorgeous co-host here, Shay Jones.
Hey
also
guys.
new correspondent on Disney
TV Weekly.
Go ahead. How's that?
So much fun.
Yes.
We're going to bring you guys so much content. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we're doing. And the man to my right, he is just not into horror, and he loves to get into some drama. So that's why he's perfectly fit to lead us, Mr. Danny Roy.
Thank you. No applause? Okay. So we got a lot to talk about. This episode was crazy. I like how they're doing like sentences for these episode titles. It's interesting.
I think it's true though.
It is, yeah. I mean, they make sense for sure. It's just it's a long title. Monica, what were your overall thoughts?
It was good. It was definitely an emotional roller coaster between Bryce's funeral and his dad, and then also like the sub story with Tony. I definitely cried in this one. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but it was emotional.
Aww. Shay?
I definitely agree. I teared up because ICE is something we're really dealing with here, and the fact that you just busted in somebody's house, left their stove on, you could have blew up the house with no disregard to the neighbors in the neighborhood as well. That is concerning, and it was very emotional. This episode was just so good. It was a roller coaster, but I loved being on it.
It was a roller coaster for sure, and it brought a lot of current and recent topics.
Definitely.
As 13 Reasons always does. It's amazing. So it opens up at Bryce's funeral, which is a hot topic. So his dad comes in drunk, right? Which is his way of masking his actual feelings. I mean, I think any father would, not want to see their son in a casket. You're blanking on that. You think so?
I mean, was he drunk or was he just being himself? That's like my question
himself
at this point.
Is drunk, probably.
Yeah. I think it was a little bit of both. I definitely think he was schmoozing and putting on the good face, but he was also drunk. Yeah. And
okay. I just thought that was just him being a douche, but cool.
Well, that too.
I mean,
but I do like how he had the moment at the end
yes.
with the mother, and they did have that sort of like, it's still our kid.
Right.
Like, it's still our son, and he definitely got emotional, so it was nice to see that side too.
It was crazy though. Like, I mean, I get it. I'm sure his side of the family and all that. He doesn't deal with emotions very well. He doesn't show his emotions, and a lot of men, they will, mask it with something, whether it be alcohol or smoozing and all that stuff. I just found it very interesting how you're just, like the mom said, like Nora said, it's a wedding. He's treating it like it's a wedding.
Yes.
And it was very interesting how he came in like that. And then mom's speech.
Oh, that one broke my heart.
That and just the moment, the flashback of her and Bryce just having fun doing the paint. I mean,
now that's the part where I almost kind of cried right there.
Yeah,
it was just nice to see him as, okay, you're not the rapist. Yeah. You're not this monster. You're trying to change, and you're trying to learn how to connect with your mother and how to just be a kid. I don't think he's really experienced what it means to be a kid either. And all the time he's grown up before he became Bryce Walker to everybody else.
Right.
So to see that moment was just, dang, why you gotta make me like look at him like a human for a second?
Because everyone is, right? Even the serial killers and all that, they're human sides. But it's interesting. Monica, I'm going to ask you, do you really think people change?
I think they can. I think they have to want to first. and it has to come from that. Like, you can't change because somebody else wants you to, and it definitely doesn't happen overnight. But I think, yeah, with therapy and a lot of work through, you know, where your problems stem from, like going through that process, I absolutely think that you can change. So, yeah.
And Shay, so he's obviously a sex offender, right?
Right.
Yeah. So people get labeled sex offenders, and usually that title follows you until you die. You think that's fair?
Fair? I mean, a girl is dead. So at the end of the day,
I mean, in general,
you get the short end of the stick when that happens.
Yeah.
When you're trying to change, I mean, it's about taking responsibility.
Yeah.
You did what you did, and this is now something you have to bring with you. You're going to have to learn how to, one, change who you were from others, and now also change every time somebody who finds out you're a sex offender is going to look at you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a double pressure, but it's something you have to want to do. I can't make you be a better person. You don't need me to make you a better person. It has to come from within. You can't get it from me because then it's not genuine.
Yeah.
It's also an addiction in a way, and as much as alcoholics and everybody else have to say it, yeah, they don't get registered as alcoholics, but they do have to tell people all of the time, like, I don't drink, or I don't, do drugs or whatever. It is a label that they need to tell people right off the bat. And so it makes sense, especially for a sex offender, because you would definitely want to know that.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. And then, so Zach had a speech. Shay, what did you think about Zach's speech?
I mean, Chloe was right. Tell your truth of who you saw Bryce as.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you can get through this speech. I mean, without obviously going into all the bad stuff that happened between you and the fact that you ruined my, life a little bit. They did have moments of brotherhood together.
Yeah.
And that's something that was true. So stick close enough to your truthness without being bitter and bring your own pain to something that's already painful and experienced in itself.
Yeah, I really liked his speech. I mean, it was his truth.
Yes.
Really connected with the mom's speech, like in the painting scene. That was that was very warm to me because I just saw me and my mom, and it was just like, it was crazy.
I loved her line too, where she said, "When it comes to a mother, we always see him as a little kid."
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Kind of broke me a little bit.
Yeah, moms are always like God to kids.
Baby boys.
And a baby boy. I'm a mama's boy. Yeah, proud. And so what we feared will happen happened, and Ho stood up in the funeral. Hands off group.
Yeah,
stood up.
All the hoes stood up.
All the hoes
one at
stood
a
up.
time with a big banner.
Come on.
I'm sorry. That was
come
just
on.
too. That was unnecessary.
I don't care who you are in the casket. Like, come on. Like,
especially like right after all of these heartwarming speeches.
Right.
And we knew it was gonna happen, but like.
You could at least wait like a
inappropriate.
couple minutes after the mom got her speech in, because it was nice. It was so nice.
They
Like,
did
let
it
her have that moment.
Yeah, and they
or
did
wait
it right
outside.
when she was up there.
Like, it doesn't make it right, but like at least be outside.
See, that's what I assumed they were
I
gonna
did
do.
too. I didn't think they were gonna be there.
I didn't think they were going to be there. However, Bryce's dad, don't put your hand on a female. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's the only issue I think I had with that.
So
I understand you're upset, and you should be, because you actually had your own little come to Jesus moment. Like, I will never talk to my son. I will never argue with him again. But never put your hands on a woman and just try to yank her out of a pew.
Yeah.
Like, girl, he grabbed her hard. Even the sheriff was just like, calm down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that, and Clay suspected that the dad had killed Bryce, which was very interesting. He was just looking
grasping.
for someone.
Yeah,
he was
grasping at straws.
But it was interesting when you that you say that, because he was angry, he was drunk, but just seeing how the men in that family treat women, that was just an overall, just like, there it is.
Well, and I think in the way that, like, you asked about people changing.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's a way of breaking the cycle, and I think Bryce would have been that break.
Yes.
Because he actually saw the issues and wanted to change it. But like the dad and the grandpa, like, they don't even see that there's a problem. That's just the way they are. And so I don't even think he doesn't even think twice about grabbing a woman. It's literally like they're below him.
Right.
And it kind of again shows why Bryce ended up the way he did, because that's what he grew up with.
Yes, and one of my favorite scenes in this episode. I mean, I had a lot, but with Bryce was when he stood up for Nora, his mom. That was
right?
that was against his grandfather. That was impactful. So I really saw their connection a lot more in this episode, and I'm glad they painted that picture for us. We also learned about Caitlin, illegitimate daughter.
It felt. I'm still confused about that whole thing. It just felt like a little. We're gonna
throw something in there.
Yeah, like we need a reason that it could be Bryce's dad, and this isn't completely ridiculous. But like, are they bringing that back? Was there a reason for that? Like,
I mean, I think for that scene particularly, it was just because they were arguing, and his dad was trying not to give the mom any money, or at least less than she deserved anyway. Yeah. And Bryce is just, I think he is trying to break that cycle. So he's like, that point. Oh, you think you're gonna get off scot-free here, huh? What about tell my mom and her lawyer about your daughter that's 12 years old today? Because I'm like 18, so.
So I'm wondering, like, how did Bryce find out about Caitlin?
I think as much as we talk about Bryce, he's smart enough. He's more observant than we give him credit for.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He can dig a little too.
Yeah, for sure. I could see him doing something like, just trying to go to his dad's house to see him or something, and then just seeing it. I mean, there's a lot of ways he could have found out, but it felt unnecessary unless there's a reason they bring it back. I mean, I get for that one season or for that one scene, but it just felt like really thrown in.
So wait, so who's the little boy that pissed his pants?
That was the wrong house.
That was the wrong house.
That was the wrong one. Okay,
they went to the wrong house.
Yeah, because that's the one he talked about.
Yeah.
I just love how you talked about how he trashed the place. Like, he goes, oh, I drank the wine, and then I had to piss, so I went up to the bedroom.
Yeah, I played golf in the living room. Yeah.
I destroyed your new house, and you're really not going to do anything about it.
It was so funny. I was like, wow, good for you, Bryce. It's like he just resents his father, and I'm like, well, I mean, it makes sense. But, so we have a lot more to talk about. And before we go on to our next segment, Shay has a lovely message for you all.
I do. Hey, guys. Sorry. I love the transition, but I just got to take a beat. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at AfterBuzz TV. We want to keep continuing doing here what we love, but to keep doing it, we need your help. So if you're watching us right now on YouTube, give us that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment with your theories. Remember, no spoilers.
Yes.
We are watching this episode by episode, so we don't know who's the killer, or we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out. That's why we get these after shows with you, because we really need to know, because I need to know. How about y'all?
Yes.
I just need to know.
Sure.
But if you're listening to this right now on iTunes, give us that 5-star, leave us a 5-star rating. The 1 through 4 just don't work. I can't.
Don't work.
They just don't work. I can't remember how, but they don't. Only the 5 does. Don't forget to leave a review as well. Thank you for making AfterBuzz TV the ESPN of TV talk. And Danny Royce, back to you.
Thank you, Shay. That was great. Before we move on to the next subject, I also wanted to point out it was interesting how Justin and Clay were searching at the same time and lying to each other at the same time.
That is the entire show.
I was like,
they're
what is
all
going on?
doing their own searches and hiding everything from each other. I'm like, can you guys just like meet up for lunch and just everyone spill each other's secrets and be done with it in like an hour? It'd be great.
Right. They're doing their separate searching. They're searching together. Yeah. They're lying together. They're lying separately. Like, it was just a lot. But Tony has a lot of issues going on this episode.
Oh.
Okay, yes. we know why Bryce has the Mustang. So he bought it from Tony. And to pay the lawyer, and his family was taken by ICE.
Right before they were going to meet Caleb.
Yes.
Which is just rude.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry, the stove was still running, the TV was still on. But the only people left were Graciela and him. Mm-hmm. So in my head, because I don't think they mentioned it, was where was Graciela doing this entire time? Was she at a friend's house? Maybe was she next door?
Well, I think didn't he take her? Like, he was there and he left with her. No, that's what he said.
Well, the neighbor guy.
He brought her over to say goodbye to Tony. But before that, when Ice had showed up at the house, I was wondering where she was.
They didn't really explain. I mean, she might have been in friends. Tio might have seen her and grabbed her. Like, they didn't really explain that part. But, yeah, that was That whole thing was just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then the conversation with the dad on the phone.
Yeah. That was rough.
I was just saying, like, before we started this, too, there's something about, like, seeing the tough guy break down that just, like...
You love that, don't you?
No, it guts me. Like, it's so heartbreaking.
Oh, no, you're the one that likes vulnerability.
I do, too, but it is so...
I'm like, suck it up.
Be a man.
Oh, God,
no, but especially the moment between Graciela and Tony as he's naming everybody in their family. They're showing up in the mirror. Like, that for me was, like, I was about to cry. It was just... Remember their names, because hopefully we can get them back in the country. Like, and this is also my question: if you take me from ICE, was I paying taxes all this time? Because if I'm paying taxes, then technically I'm a citizen.
Get my money back.
Like, right? Like, all that money I paid in taxes and for my children and everything. Right. You owe me money at this point. Right. Send me back to Mexico.
I mean, yeah, it's a whole. I mean, the political thing.
Unfortunately,
I'm saying it should.
Yeah.
If I was paying taxes, then.
It's insane to come back to, like, you know, like just like less than a month ago, you know, kids got out of school and their parents didn't come pick them up. So it's interesting, and it's sad and it's barbaric to just like take someone out of their lives like that. Do we have anything going on in the chat about that?
A lot.
Come on, let's hear it.
I'm just going from the protest down. So we have Amy Wee saying that protest was savage. Billie Jean says the funeral was brutal. Those girls completely lost their minds. Amy says, waiting for the hashtag Whodunit.
It's coming.
Billie Jean says everyone is so secretive they don't fully trust each other. Katia says that whole situation with Tony was so sad. The oven was still on. And Renji says, I loved the mirror scene.
Me too.
I think that was actually the MVP of this episode. Like, despite everything, that was just a true moment of... Man, like, even if your family's not there, never forget.
Yes.
Always, like, look in the mirror, remember their faces, know that you're not alone.
Right. Mm-hmm. Because they're still there within you.
Yes.
Like, you still carry your family. And, yeah, to anyone out there who's going through any type of situation like that, our hearts are here for you, and we love you.
Yeah.
I will say Caleb being a true boyfriend, though.
Oh, yeah.
He was like,
clutch.
You do not have to do this alone. Cause I think Tony's just so used to, because Tony's the secret keeper most of the time. He keeps everybody's secrets.
He's a harborer.
Him and Clay are like those like people that just do that. But like Caleb is like, you do not have to do this alone. You do not have to live in the garage. You can stay with me. I will be your family right now.
Yeah.
It was such a beautiful scene.
It really was.
It was, yeah.
I love the two of them.
I know, it's so cute. I feel like after all they've been through with Hannah and everything, Tony deserves that. Especially with this one. This is the one thing he truly deserves in his life.
Yeah. They are probably the most honest with each other of any two characters in this show, because everyone has some sort of secret. The two of them seem to be the most honest.
Yeah.
They don't always do it right away, but they get there pretty quickly and they're honest with each other.
That's very true.
I will say Justin and Jessica, I feel like also, like once everything is like at a head, like they are the most honest with each other too.
I don't think they've shown it as much, but I would say they probably are, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, no, I relate a lot to Tony in that specific scene because, you know, I'm always like, okay, I can do it by myself. It's the strength, you know, and I don't need help. And a lot of times you do need help, and it'll be easier that way, which I've learned. So that whole situation happened, okay? Alex is getting aggressive.
You mean getting? He's been aggressive.
I mean, he's been aggressive, but more so. And then we'll talk about later, but in the ring specifically with Tyler, he is just, so... I don't believe it's, you know, it's not just the steroids, obviously. He's still grieving the loss of Jessica, like, literally.
I think he's grieving the loss of Jessica. I think it's the lack of control. He's angry with his body.
Yes.
There's a lot of frustration that I don't think he's dealt with, and it's coming out in little bits, and of course the steroids have, like, blown it up.
Really, yeah.
But, yeah, he's losing it.
It's
very quickly. I'm like, cause he's like, okay, let's fight, and then Tyler like knocks you down, and you're just like, no, we're going again.
Let's go.
And I'm just like, I'm like, you need to take a nap. Like, just take a nap. I think if you're more well rested, you might be okay.
Right.
Yeah. He needs a Snickers. You're not you without a Snickers.
He needs a Snickers.
Product placement. Opportunity missed.
That would have been the funniest thing that happened this episode, I promise you. Somebody just walked up to that ring just like, hey, dude, here's some sugar. Maybe you just need some sugar.
What is the tagline of that again?
You're not you, something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
you're not you. You're not you. And then they hand them the Snickers, they take a bite, and then they're back to themselves.
All right, they're not paying us, so
Anyway,
we're not promoting. I need a minute. No, I was okay. But so Clay gets called into the interrogator, right, towards the end of this episode.
Because they finally got that video from season 2. Like, of course that house would have some security in the front. Okay.
I'm surprised that hasn't come up sooner, but yeah, that doesn't help his case.
Right.
He looks pretty guilty in that.
Yeah, he looks pretty guilty. So they see the video at the end. They interrogated him, but I do believe this is the episode where they pulled out the evidence.
Yeah.
But that...
It is. They talk about it in the next
they
one.
talk,
But
they talk about it.
But they do
pull
show
it out.
him.
Oh, they showed
Yes.
it? Oh, okay. That's why I got confused. Got
Yeah,
it.
you're messing me up, Shane. It's all right. No, yeah, so they pulled out the evidence. And so what do you guys think about that? Because, I mean, for one, how did you get that? And two,
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Firstly, why?
Right.
Somehow we ain't cleaned up this bedroom before this funeral.
Right.
I just want to toss that out there. 2, why you showing me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not dating a girl.
Right.
Like,
But
we ain't claimed each other.
mm-hmm.
What about you, Monica?
We claimed each other.
I don't know, because I feel like, I don't know, they're trying to get it out of Clay, and they know that he obviously had this anger issue over Hannah.
Right.
But I don't know how the police are connecting the two of them, especially when in the interrogation they're both saying they're not that close.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we know they have a friendship relationship thing, but yeah, the police would have no reason to suspect.
Nora.
Yeah, Mrs. Walker. Because she's the one also
Nora's the one
tipped them off
tying them.
about Clay.
Okay,
The Clay,
so fair enough. So
yeah.
they're showing it, trying to see if, that does give him some motive.
Right. Nora's like, he comes, picks her up every day, or drops her off every day at the bottom of the hill. So
Yeah.
I'm sure she's had that conversation. But it has Bryce's sperm
And some blood.
and some blood on it. Okay? So it could be a number of things that could have happened. We find out later on. But that's where the episode ended. And then, that's not where the episode ended. I apologize. After that, Clay has this "I love you" complex, which is amazing. He finally, for me, it spoke volumes of be grateful for what you have.
Yes.
Because it can be gone in a second. And so I believe Clay saw that with Tony and his family. I believe he saw that at Bryce's funeral. And it was just this moment of, I have a family here that loves me and supports me.
I think it was also realizing, it could be worse.
Yes.
And I know, they're wrapped up in a lot of really awful stuff,
Mhm.
but I think it's kind of taken him out of his own life. And so in that moment, he realized, it could be a lot worse. And I have people here that support me, and I want to show them. So it was cute.
Very
Yeah,
true.
he's he moved all the pictures. We need Justin's picture right here.
now.
Justin's
it needs to go
picture.
right here.
Oh, little bro. Little bro.
I think it's I love their brotherhood they have now. I mean, obviously it took them 2 seasons to get here, but Clay and Justin have a lot more in common than they think they do, which I think is why I love their brotherhood so much.
Yeah.
Brother roommate. What have been calling themselves this season.
Roommate.
Roommate.
We come up with a lot of words on here. What was the
my
last
goodness.
time? Friend
Oh, relationship.
We got a lot of. We got to
my
start
goodness.
patenting these things. Anything else they were saying in the chat room?
Renji says #they live in you, which I
Yes,
fully support.
They do.
Love that.
Glow Love says, I love Tony and Caleb with a lot of exclamation points.
Mhm.
#relationship goals by Debbie.
Mm.
Glow Love said, take a nap, ha ha ha.
What is this one I have?
Just take a nap.
Take a nap.
And Amy says, Clay had the most obvious motive because he loved Hannah so much and enough to threaten Bryce.
Okay.
And Katya says, Justin and Clay are my bro. I'm assuming she mean bro tip, BROT, but it says BROTP. So I don't know what that means. Like, or how to spell it.
I don't know.
Bro tip. I'm assuming. Cool. You let me know.
I'm not cool enough to know these
Brody-
things. Bro toilet paper?
Brody-
I don't know.
Brody
Like,
P?
Wait, bro tip.
Brody?
I think even bro tip maybe. I don't know. But what does bro tip mean?
it's
Bro-
probably a spelling
Yeah.
error, and we're like trying to figure out some sort of cool acronym.
We're trying to we're trying to make
no,
it cool.
No, I just messed it up.
I mean, and Dominic Cook says Clay and Justin's relationship is amazing.
Yeah.
That's
I like
probably the one,
relationship.
like, I mean, obviously we all wish Hannah was still here, but, like, I wish she could see the two of them. I think
Yeah.
she would love that so much.
Yeah. That would.
Because under all the things that Justin has been through, he actually is a good person.
He's a good person.
He just, like, I think sometimes life shows you that you're not worth it. So unless you, like, really have somebody fighting for you, you don't see it in yourself.
Right.
I think Bryce
Hey
is
guys,
the same
this is
thing.
Brianna from the booth. I'm not sure if this is what they were trying to say, but there is something called BROTP, which is similar to OTP that refers to a set of best friends in a show, book, or movie who are destined to be best friends forever.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't know if that's what they were
Okay.
referring, but that's what Urban Dictionary
Oh,
says.
like one true pairing, but like for like a brotherhood type.
Bro,
Got you.
one true parent.
I got you.
Okay.
I'm caught up.
I like that.
Great in the booth. Love you. Dope.
you.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, I love their relationship, but also again, they have secrets from each other. So we'll talk about later on. So we're gonna go to our special segment.
Woohoo! Our special segment, Whodunit, which somebody already referred
Oh my
to. I
god.
love that.
I know. I love getting into it.
So, with each episode, based on that episode, we go through who we think killed Bryce. So, Shay, what do you think?
Okay, so for this one, I'll say Alex because of all like the steroids and like, his whole pent-up road rage thing he has going on. I don't think he's that stable.
Mm.
Yeah.
And maybe if he tried to get some from Bryce after homecoming and Bryce didn't come up with it, I mean, he has enough steroids in him to make it happen.
He's got enough anger.
True.
What do you think, Danny?
After this episode, especially towards the end of it, I went with Ani because I thought maybe she was raped. There was blood on the on her panties, and we saw that she wore them. And then so that's what I was like. Okay, so maybe she was another victim, and then she bam.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I'm going Caleb. I'm just kidding.
You always
Oh my gosh, no.
No, actually, based on this episode, I was actually thinking Monty, and we didn't even like talk about this moment. But at the funeral, when they were like, "You loved him," and he was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, no, like,
always.
there was a moment where I was like, maybe there was a thing. Like, maybe he loved Bryce, and then the way he beat up the other guy for having feelings, like,
Mm-hmm.
I always just thought it's because Monty doesn't actually know what love
is.
So
Yeah.
like being somebody saying, "Oh, you love him," is just like, what are you talking about? Like he has
Yeah.
no experience of
Like
that.
no.
it was such a small moment. But I was like taking notes, and I
Yeah.
literally wrote, "Monty did it." I was like, I saw that look. He loved him.
Oh, I got a lot to talk more about Monty
Yeah.
later, but all right.
All right.
Well, we're
so
gonna
let us
go.
know in the comments
Oh, yeah.
too what you guys think.
Yes.
No spoilers.
But no spoilers. You can't tell us who did it.
No
However,
spoilers.
It's like no. All right, let's get into our news and gossip.
so just some quick news and gossip. So I know last week we talked about Grace, who plays Ani, and Charlie, about her, facing cyberbullying because of her character in 13 Reasons Why. She has recently just deleted everything off her Instagram account and has gone silent on social media. And I've seen some of the comments. They're just hard to read. There's just a lot. Guys, this is a character.
Can we can you maybe read one or two if it's
okay.
appropriate?
So, Twitter user at AJCon_, Ani could do whatever she wants. That's her choice. But you really have to be a big, I don't even know how to pronounce that, dotish to sleep with a rapist and try to be friends with one of his victims too. Like, sis has no morality whatsoever and her character is poorly written. What a shame. # 13 Reasons Why.
Okay, well, at least that one was based on the character.
Yeah, that one
and
was based
it
on the
wasn't
character.
super personal.
But also, it's like Ani met Bryce in a certain place in his life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
yeah.
you can't really go by like, oh, he's raped. She didn't know Bryce the rapist. She knew
Bryce, who he was.
Bryce, the
human
broken
being.
kid trying to be
Yes.
better. Yeah.
So okay.
But that's really sad that she's going through that. I mean, it's a character, but it's a real person behind it. And that's just really awful.
Yeah.
Like, that people are, I mean, we love that they're invested in the show so
Right.
much, but leave
the
the
same
actual
time.
actors alone and,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, if you're going to attack the character, totally fine, because that means the person playing the character did their job,
Doing their job,
to make
right.
you
Making you feel
that way, because that's what people in this business are for. When you're acting, you want to make people feel something. That's the job that we have in this industry. But at the same time, to attack somebody for a character that's not truly them is very just I can't even
On a show about bullying.
on it like I don't know if anybody understands
Go
the
figure.
irony of that.
Right.
Like you're bullying somebody on a show about bullying where somebody committed suicide.
Yeah.
because of
Bullying.
bullying.
Not just like the
Yeah.
rape thing, it was literally also because of bullying.
Yes.
So like bullying is still a big factor in the show.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. So basically, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this right. They're lashing out at her
For
based upon what her character did throughout the series.
Yes.
I mean, I guess she,
Sorry,
I thought you were gonna say something. He was like, no.
I had no type of words
just
whatsoever.
clarifying.
But some people in chat are saying that I wish people would separate TV from reality.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
Debbie. And Renji says you can dislike/hate the character, but respect the person that's just playing them.
Yes.
Right. And for her to get off of social media, it had to be really bad.
Like she has
It had to be
37,000 followers, and it's still active, however. But she's like, I think she took off all her pictures. She just
Really?
like, in that way, that's how she deleted everything. She just went silent.
Wow.
And she's young too. I mean, not that it's right at any age, but like these actors are super young, and it's I don't know how much she's done before this, but I imagine it's one of her first big roles. That's a lot to be thrown into.
Yeah.
The fan base that's like really all about the show, and then to have the backlash of the hate, and I mean that's a lot.
And I think also some trolls just like being chosen. I guess that's fine. How you are, and that's how how you get through your own day.
Right.
Cool. But for everybody else, just because you don't like the character, it gives you no right to attack an actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on a personal level. Fine, I'm legit. I'm fine if you're attacking my character. That's the job.
Yes.
You're supposed to attack my character, especially if I'm doing something you don't like.
Exactly.
Cool. But as a person, I'm not that person.
Right.
I'm Grace at the end of the day. When I leave the wardrobe trailer,
Yeah.
I am Grace again.
Yes.
Okay, and I think you also have to separate. Like when you're acting, you also have to separate that part of yourself too.
Oh yeah.
You have to leave the character behind, otherwise you will legit go a little bit insane.
Right. I definitely agree. That's just a lot. That's a lot to put out. And then she is the voice of 13 Reasons Why season 3. Like, that's voiceover. That's all her. It's from her perspective mainly. So, yeah. Wow. All right. Well, any last comments, ladies?
I think on that note, just if anybody's struggling with bullying, with depression, with anxiety, with any of these big issues that the show talks about, they have really, really good resources on 13reasonswhy.info.
Yes.
So please reach out. There are people who care. There are people who will listen. So I just want to put that out there for everybody.
Thank you.
And your life matters.
And it does.
It does. We love you. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. You'll see us very soon as we cover episode 7. Monica?
Hey guys, you can find me all across social media at Monica Goes Show.
You guys can find me at Real Shay Jones on Twitter and Instagram, and Monday 8 p.m. the season finale of Grand Hotel.
Hey, and you can find me everywhere at I am Danny Royce. We'll see y'all very soon.
Bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.